there are over 1 million people that were killed.
They decided to kill them all.
It's a very sad story.
And then they started hitting them.
People that killed their neighbors, their friends.
I have never seen anything sad like a genocide.
Never again the genocide in Rwanda.
And everything in life can happen. It's possible.
I was ready to die. My big fear was to die by machete, cutting me.
We are at the Genocide Memorial here in Rwanda. It's a memorial of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis with JP. He's a fixer here in Rwanda. He lost 7 members of his family to the genocide. The first thing that I want to say is I'm so sorry for what happened. It is something that shouldn't happen anywhere to nobody, and there is no reason ever to something that like what happened here to happen here or anywhere. I believe that for you it is special also to come back here to this place.
The genocide happened, I was an adult. And the thing I will never understood, how comes someone who is normal can kill a baby, some months, 2 months old baby, a woman, a pregnant woman, sometimes they were opening the stomach and see the baby inside. How comes someone can go and kill someone, an old man, an old woman, 97 years old? It was like, sometimes when you try to understand, it's impossible to understand. And I was saying, if RPF soldiers reading Bakagame, if they didn't come inside, I think it will be the end of the end of the Rwanda. They will kill everyone. It's when they came, it was for us even to survive. It was like a miracle.
There are so many stories of people that killed their neighbors, killed their friends. Is there a way to explain that?
No.
It's a pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you.
I'm Tommy from Argentina. And in this video we are trying to understand a little bit more of what happened here during the genocide of 1994 against the Tutsis. One of the things that Jean-Pierre told me is that you used to work in the Hotel des Mille Collines. And were you there between which years working?
That time I have done like 3 days at the reception in the beginning, and then I left. I went to the rooms like other refugees because I was not able to handle such situation. I was not a soldier, I was nothing like that. I was just a young receptionist. So that's why I didn't met those guys. When they were coming, when they arrived at the reception, they was meeting those officers from UNAMIR, some journalists, and they was asking them to
leave the hotel,
to
go away from the hotel.
Yes.
And inside the rooms, what was the daily discussion that you would have with the other refugees? What would you talk about?
Essentially, their family members that was still outside the hotel, and many of them were killed. So sometimes they were receiving information that one member of their family dead, killed another one. So the discussions was always about that.
So,
and at the end, how will we survive in between such genocide?
So you were every day surrounded by other people's sadness and also, I guess, by your own sadness.
Yes, exactly.
Did you lose any family?
I lost my mom, and then cousins, aunt, uncles, a lot of them.
Do you find any answers, any explanation to what happened? What do you tell yourself after what happened?
Still now, I have never seen anything sad like a genocide. How can people talking the same language, can do such thing, can kill each other, neighbors, friends, and some relations, even because some of Hutus were married to Tutsis and they were killing them. So How that level of sadness can arrive in this earth, I cannot explain that until now.
And the problem was why international community didn't intervene. So genocide was committed by Rwandan and stopped by Rwandans, young Rwandans, and the boss of the commander of the army, the troop who stopped the genocide was Kagame, the actual president.
You think it was mainly the reason why everything started has to do with politics?
Yes.
What can you explain to everybody that's watching this video? Why do you, in particular, think that this problem started?
I think in the beginning, it came in the period of colonialism, Belgian. When they came to Rwanda, they saw a country which is well organized, with institutions, army, everything. And it was quite difficult to enter that system and destroy it. They decided to divide them in ethnics.
What do you think about that situation?
It was a very sad situation for our country because all of the people were living together in peace. All was structured very well. They didn't get any other way to destroy a country than to divide people and tell one group that it has been under the other group, so that they create a misunderstanding between those groups created that time, which at the end in '94 get that result, a genocide.
What did you feel at the moment?
When I was seeing what was going on, I thought that they'll kill people. Some people, maybe politicians and rich people, but I didn't understand. I can't understand up to now how comes they were trying to kill every Tutsis in this country. Even now, 30 years later, I can't understand. Because there was no reason to kill people. There was no reason, nothing.
Here we have the names. There are over 1 million people that were killed in a period of a little bit more of 100 days, something like that. You have a very particular story.
It's hard to come back to tell my whole story.
I know.
It's sometimes very hard because it takes me back in the genocide. And sometimes I can get. I mean, I'm not very comfortable to talk about it. But you can imagine, in that time, I had parents. My dad was 57 years old when he was killed. I had brothers and sisters and mom. In a small time, a couple of weeks or days, you lost everything. You lost everyone. I was like waiting for the death. I was ready to die. My big fear was to die by machete, cutting me. If someone asked me to be shooted, I would say yes, because I was ready to die.
In your case in particular, how did you do to survive?
That's another big thing, but I can go, once again, I can go inside the details, but I had it in a septic tank for 2 months and 15 days.
One of the stories that was there in the Genocide Memorial had to do with children that were in school. There was a group of children, and the Hutus came in, and they were like, okay, we have to, everybody separate. On one side Hutus, on the other side Tutsis. And the children said, no, we are all Rwandan.
That came after the genocide, not before. Because even the children saw that it was an error to teach our children that division.
Do you have children?
Yes, 2 daughters.
When you explain to them about the situation, what do you tell them? How do you explain to them, for example, that some of your family members are not here? What do you tell them?
I have to begin by that history that I told you from the colonialism, how before the colonialism people were living together, and with the colonialists what happened, so that they can understand what happened and push Rwanda into such genocide.
And when you explain this to them, what do they say?
They can't understand. Because, you know, a genocide is something crazy. Those are young, but even for us who saw it, it's still unbelievable.
They put you in a situation when you are asking to die. There is no reason, there is no explanation to explain why they killed that big number of Tutsis. What will be happening if someone didn't come to stop the genocide? I think the country will be completely empty, completely empty. You can imagine, in 3 months, they managed to kill over than 1 million people. In only 90 days. It's impossible to understand.
My name is Rwihimba Denzel,
How old are you?
18 years old.
Are you still in school?
Yes,
Do you like school?
yes,
Yes.
because I like to study.
Ah, good.
Yeah,
Will you keep on studying when you finish school?
yes.
Do you know what?
Yeah, I want to continue with the course of cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity, wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes,
The other day we went to the Genocide Memorial.
yeah,
We are trying to understand a little bit better what happened here during the 90s, and also how new generations as you, which you are very young, 18, just about to finish school,
yeah.
how you guys learn about what happened here.
In Rwanda in 1994, there was a genocide against Tutsi. So in schools, students were discriminated from one another, where one part can't get all facilities for studying. So there was a denial of service from one clan, where at the end there was problems with that clan. So, but in these days, our government is very good because it supports, there is no clan, all peoples are around this, so people can study without any problem, and people can access all facilities. Yeah.
And for example, when you have a class in school about this, what do they teach you?
When we have a class on genocide, first they teach us the cause of the genocide, cause, stages, where it comes from, causes, impact on the society, on the government or the neighbor countries, things like that.
Joseph, thank you so much for being with us. You will have to sit where your students usually do. So what do you teach here, Joseph? What's your specialty?
I'm teaching in ICT in a secondary school, Yeah.
Do you teach primary or secondary?
secondary school.
How is education here in Rwanda?
Education here in Rwanda is better because the more kids, more children have the opportunity to study. We have what we call 12 basic education in Rwanda. All the children have to study from P1 to senior 6, 12 years.
It's a good thing that kids get a lot of time in school, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that we got to know in the last few days, we talked with many young women and men from here, from Rwanda. We visited the Genocide Memorial. How do you teach kids about what happened in the 90s here?
Okay, in our schools, we have groups which help students to know the history of our country, history of genocide, the cause and the concept of genocide. That is, help them to know how the country is.
My name is Etienne Nambala. I'm a teacher of IFAC, secondary school.
Thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
I'm Tommy, and let's go into the class. Today we are trying to understand more about Rwanda.
Hey.
A very important part of any society is school. And as a teacher, you are a very, very important part of school because you are the one that gives the kids the knowledge. How is school in Rwanda?
First of all, our school in Rwanda is very good. When I say it's very good, I just compare with the early schools like before genocide and in this time. When I say it's a good, when we compare the before genocide, it was not good because they are favorite for boys, not for the girls. But now in Rwanda, all the kids, like boy and girls, are the same on the same level. That's why we have the different kids that are the same goods, and they have degrees and the skills par rapport in the era before genocide.
Gravis,
Yes.
you are 18 years old, so you are also about to finish school.
Yeah. next day will be my last year.
The other day we went to the Genocide Memorial.
Yeah.
We got to know a lot of really powerful stories of the things that happened in your country. What do they teach you in school about what happened here?
All we got from our schools, our government have put in these measures in schools to have topics which we study more about genocide. It's not for our genocide only. Even those happened around the world, Jews, Namahelelo. It was hard time. That days was harsh days, sallow days. But we study more about that so that it could not happen again in our country. They taste more and more about, even though, as I said, I'm 18, I wasn't there at that time. They tried their best to teach and show much about the story, especially the genocide one happened in Rwanda.
Today we spoke with some young women and men from here. We talked a little bit about how the genocide is approached in school. What do you teach the children about the genocide?
When you teach them about genocide to the kids, you just teach them the culture of Rwanda. And when I say culture of Rwanda, we teach how to collaborate with each others, but we teach them don't separate. We encourage them how to work each other, because you have like things which is not good. The separation of the kids, that was negative effects of genocide. Nowadays, the different kids, we teach them the culture of Rwanda, like working together, how they get the different skills. And also about the genocide, we are just going to the genocide memorial by remembering them. Then they get the skills on how to avoid that genocide, in order to avoid how to interact them.
My name is Queen.
How old are you?
I'm 16, I'm turning 17.
Okay, so you are very young, you're still in school.
Yes.
We are getting to know a little bit more about the history of your country, what happened here during the 90s. What do they teach you in school about the genocide?
Well, they taught me a lot. They told me the genocide that took place by the Hutu against the Tutsi. It started when the Tutsi people were being killed by the Hutu according to their tribes, their looks, their religions.
What do you think about that, for example, that they would separate people according to their ethnicity or supposed ethnicity? How do you feel about that situation? Like they would measure people's noses and say, you belong to this group or you belong to this group?
Well, what I think about that, it's really bad because it makes people to separate and reduce the love that's between them, and that's not really good between the people. Yeah, and it can make people go against each other, kill each other, like what happened.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too.
So you are a teacher here in Rwanda.
Yeah.
What do you teach?
I teach language.
Languages.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Which is the language that kids like the most?
English, French, but country, we use French in my school.
So do you think kids like more speaking in Kinyarwanda or in French?
It is forbidden them to speak in Kinyarwanda around the school.
They cannot?
No.
Okay.
Because we use the system of French. So that's why they are supposed to speak in French. But they study Kinyarwanda as a main course, but they don't use it around the school.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
26?
Yes.
Okay, so you were born a little bit after the genocide happened here.
Yeah.
What did your parents tell you about the genocide?
My mother is a Rwandan who taught me that there was killings, people used to kill each other, those kinds of crimes, kinds of ideology which are not the same, some misunderstanding between clans. That's what they taught me. So they said that people used, there is 3 parts, Hutus, Tutsis, and Hutwa. Abatwa. That's how we say in Kinyarwanda, Abatwa, Hutus and Tutsis. So the Hutus are the one who killed the Tutsi in order to remain only, they wanted to remain as one clan in the country. So I think it was bad, they had bad understanding, that's what I think.
And children, for example, they ask you questions about this?
Yes. Why did they kill each other? Why didn't they love each other? Somehow it's hard because to explain something that you didn't see is somehow hard, but we got some information from the school, from the parents, from the government. So it's not very hard to teach them.
What do your classmates say about what happened in this country?
We are young. We have a little knowledge on that because we didn't experience that. So when we are discussing on that point, we see many difficulties because when a country is experiencing that genocide, there are many problems. Like the people are dying, there are orphans, destruction of properties, many problems, and the way people used to live in harmony, it's also destroyed, which it is very difficult for the society to reconcile and live together again in harmony.
Did you lose any family to the genocide?
Some,
family?
yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Almost 30. Okay,
Yeah.
so you were born when the genocide was almost ending. So did you lose any family to the genocide?
Yeah, I lost more in my father family, almost. It's mainly one.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. When you go once a year to the genocide memorial, for example, to take students, how do you feel and how do the kids feel in that moment?
So more we feel bad, sad, but we try to grow because the country is now growing, is now learning up because the genocide, we are now in a way of increasing our country to make our country better than before the genocide.
When you talk with your friends about what happened here,
Yeah.
is it possible to understand what happened in Rwanda?
Yeah, it is possible because when we are discussing, we know that it was caused by the bad government that were in Rwanda, like which promoted the discrimination against clans. Because when there is a government which supports that discrimination, it facilitates that it can occur. So, but like in these days, our government doesn't accept that there is any clan or any people which can discriminate others. It is difficult that in this day it can occur because people have the knowledge about the impact on genocide. And people in these days live in harmony. There is no problems between clans. There is no clans. Yeah.
What do you think about the classification that they would do here?
Yeah.
Classifying people into ethnic groups.
Yeah. They classify people in 3 groups according to their nose, the eyes, height, and they used to people who had many cows, discriminating people according to the way of living.
And how do you feel about that? That they would, according to your, I don't know, to the length of your nose, according to how many cows you had, you were from one group or another. How does that make you feel?
It is somehow not fair because when people start to classify each other, there is the occurrence of discrimination against, because people have problems that with the long nose has many cows. Me, I don't have any. That means that people are richer than me. So they come problem between them of living. which can cause problem in the way they used to live.
I don't want to ask you about the details of what happened with your family. I understand it is something very mobilizing for you. But you had the chance also to confront the person that killed your parents, no? How did you feel?
I went in my home village and I saw a guy, one of the guys who especially killed my dad. And as I told you, I decided to leave. I mean, to do my life. When I saw him, I was like, what can I do? If you kill him, you go straight away in a prison. There is no negotiation, they put you in a prison. Even if you push him, they can put you in a prison. So I was like losing my mind when I saw him, asking myself, what can I do? Nowadays, if you kill someone, because he killed your family, you killed any of your family during the genocide, straight away in a prison.
But did you want to? Even if you couldn't?
No.
No?
No. Because for me, dying is not a punishment. My wish was like taking him, I mean, he is in a prison, but my wish always is putting those people in a prison, be judged and put them in a prison, and keep them in a prison, and then they can think about what they done. Yeah. What about if you kill him? For me, it's not a punishment because he died, and that's it. It's better to give him time to think about what they were doing during the genocide.
So when you saw him, your first reaction was you didn't know what to do.
My first reaction, there was no reaction. Just facing him and asking myself, what can I do? And I was like just in front of him. I didn't move. I was just like him. I mean, my mind was telling me many things. If I kill him, they put me in a prison.
What did you say to him at the moment?
Nothing.
Nothing. You couldn't speak.
I can't speak. I was in front of him for a couple of minutes, like half an hour. Then I started to then I talked to him. I just asked him to go and show me where they put the dead body of my dad. Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever go to the Genocide Memorial? Do you visit?
Yeah, many times.
How do you feel when you arrive there?
When you arrive there, you are emotionally damaged because seeing those situations, videos, pictures, and how it was organized, it can cause you some problems. You get from there. You are damaged in the brain.
In April, the 7th of April, you go there?
Yeah, our school organized an event to go to the Genocide Memorial at Gisozi every year.
For example, when you guys are there, do you talk with your friends about the things that happened, or what do you guys talk about when you're there?
When we are there, we talk about what we are seeing. When we see like a video of people who were migrating because of the problem, we discuss on it, why they are going, because they are killing them.
Did you lose any family to the genocide?
Yeah, I got a few.
When you go each 7th of April with your school to the Genocide Memorial, how do you feel when you are there?
At first time, you feel like, God, why? But the more they explain, the more they show you, it is combined these two parts, how genocide started, during the genocide, and after the genocide. So that part of the genocide shows me like you don't have to fear anything, everything is possible. As you saw, genocide have been started by Rwandans, but also the Rwandan, the youth, as I am, is the one who stopped the genocide. So it gave me the strength so that I could pursue everything, and everything in life can happen. It's possible.
When you are there, what do you talk about with your other fellow companions from school?
Their faces during the entrance of the Genocide Memorial, there was like, they have this fear to enter. It's like, it's like genocide is happening, but through our teachers who accompanied us that time, they told us, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. They have been put to end. Go learn more about your country. Nothing gonna happen again. Be calm, be calm. But their face was like full of fear, many thoughts. We were all in dilemma.
What is the reaction of the children when you take them there?
The reaction of nowadays is very good because when they visit them, they learn experience. Those experiences, they help them how to avoid that genocide. Nowadays, our kids are good and they are interested to learn them because they favorite them how to avoid that genocide. So nowadays, that's why you have more children that are important for running the genocide. And then maybe, we never know if it will be continued, but we have a hope they will not come again.
When you go there, how do you feel?
Very sad. Very sad.
I teach the young children, so they are not used to go to the memorial, but we do that a little thing there at school. We tell them about what happened, we show them the pictures or some videos. So some are hurt, they can get, some of them are frustrated because of the story. They get hurt, some decide, hey, this will never happen, it was harmful, this was this. Yeah.
We're talking about children of what age?
Like from 6 to 10, like that.
And when you explain to these children, could you explain to me as the same way as you would explain to them?
No, not really.
What do you tell them? What is that you can tell a child that is 6 years old, like up to, what do you explain to them?
Okay, I explain them what happened, what caused the killings, what to do so that that action cannot happen again. I tell them everything, but in simple way that they can understand. Differently from the way I can tell you. Because I can tell you all the things, I can show you all the pictures, all the videos, but there are some videos that you can show to the kid, and he really gets frustrated.
The kids know that genocide is not a good thing. That is why they have to do a better things to never again genocide.
Does it happen perhaps that, I guess that most of the children that come to school, many of them have lost family to the genocide, perhaps their grandparents or other family members. Is it a sad moment? Is it a complicated moment when you teach this?
Yeah, somehow there is some of students who have a family which lost their parent or some of them. So we teach them to be with us. We are all Rwandan. We have the same purpose. We have the same life. So we are together. We tell them that we are together. We are family as a Rwandan. So they can study without anything.
I'm so sorry for what happened.
It's okay.
I feel the same way as you do. 10 times less, because for me it's impossible to be in your shoes. One of the things that I believe it is very important and talks a lot about who you are in particular is how do you explain your children what happened and how you end with the hatred between the people that live in the same country that are all the same basically. There's no reasonable explanation for something like this to happen ever.
Exactly.
In no country. How does life continue after
the genocide?
Something so harsh.
It's not easy. It is not easy. You know, sometimes you just ask yourself questions. Why did they kill my family? Why they killed my brothers and sisters? Why they killed my parents? There is no answer. Then, as I told you, I took a decision. Says, let me live. Let me build a new life where I will live for myself, for themselves. And I create a family now. I have children, and I look after my children. That's it.
When your children, for example, ask you about their grandfather, what do you tell them?
It's not that easy. When I'm talking to genocide, about genocide to my children, I'm very careful because genocide happened. It was a bad leadership because they asked them, they told them that they have to kill Tutsis. Tutsis are bad, which was not true. So when I'm talking to my children, I have to be careful because I don't want to create hatred inside them. So I have to be careful, tell them that there's big difference between Hutus and Kiras. So there's a very small number of Hutus who didn't kill. Mm-hmm. And even for those one who killed, it was like a long time of propaganda. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have to be careful when I'm talking to them because I don't want like putting inside their mind another hatred. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
While you tell me your story, I am feeling very emotional.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine what you feel and what you've been through and the process, which is always ongoing because it is something that will always be with you. I want to tell you that you are an amazing person because what you've just told me of how you handle, for example, the way you talk to your kids about what happened. Looking towards the future, do you think this is over? Do you think this hatred that was forced into the people, do you think it is over, or there are still people that have that hate inside here?
Yeah, there are still people who have the hate inside because when we start the period of remembering our people who lost life, there are peoples in the other side countries who post some words which are complicated against it. So
that happens in social media.
Yeah. So there are not many, but there are some which remains with that mindset. It is very difficult that it can over completely.
I can say I have been completely ended because through this news we heard, especially during this commemorative period, which took 3 or 4 months, there's we still are having this kind of ideology, still talking about the past, the hate thing is still in there, but compared to the past time, it is decreasing as more than it used to be. So its existence.
There's some people who still think that way, but there are not that many, so that the war can happen again. Mm-hmm. They reduced. Lots of people stopped those kind of the thinking they had, but some are still there who still have those kind of thoughts.
For example, if one of those people were here, what would you tell them?
For me, what I would tell them is to stop what they're thinking about, because if they continue, they can increase the hatred in their country. And between them, even them, it can end up getting them to some consequences.
We still have a journey to go because there are some parents who still have some ideologies. So when you are teaching some kids, you found out that there are some parents who teach them the things which are different, which can lead us to the past story. Mm-hmm. So it's very hard to change the mind of a kid, the education that has been given to him by his parents or her parents. So it's a step by step. Yeah, we still have the journey. We still have to teach them. That's why we have to remember every year. We have to emphasize love.
To try not to strengthen the hate, no?
Yeah.
It is something, I guess it's probably very hard to, after everything that has happened, to try and be peaceful about everything that has happened, but it is necessary, no?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The majority, I can say that it's okay, but we still have the journey to go. The parents have to do their job. As the teacher, we have to complete what the parents have said to the children. But when they are in different ways, it's hard. You have to deal with this one with his problem, this one with his problems. So we have to deal it personally sometimes, personally one kid by another, because we have children with different backgrounds, different kids with different beliefs. So even the parents are different. So they teach them the different things. But as a teacher, we are here to give them the same direction. We have to give them the same understanding, even though they are from different kinds, different beliefs, but we have to give them the best we have.
What age are the people that do these comments in social media?
Like they are between 30 and 50 because they are old.
So they're a little bit older than you, and perhaps their parents were victims of the genocide.
Yeah, because parents teach them that.
Or their parents were part of the genocide, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Many people with that problems of against Tutsi, their parents that teach them that the Tutsis are very harmful people, and they still with that mindset. They didn't change. So when the period of remembering comes, they start to add on stories on social medias words which are not good in that period.
When we got to know a little bit more about the history here, we got to know a lot of very powerful stories.
Yeah.
Very sad stories. The Hutus went inside a school and they told the children to separate.
Yeah.
Can you tell me that story? The children said no.
Yeah.
We are all Rwandans.
Yes, that's what they said, and then they started hitting them.
When the Hutu went in that school with the guns, wanted that the children separate and get the Tutsi killed, and the Hutus, they let them leave. But when they enter in class and ask for the children to separate from Hutus and Tutsis, and the children, because they have learned to live together like Rwandese, so they refused to separate, and when the Hutus see that they refused to separate, they decided to kill them all.
It's a very sad story.
Yeah.
And it also talks about how new generations started to understand that everybody is the same, basically.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Do you have a message, perhaps, that you would give to the rest of the world and to the rest of the Rwandans that are watching this video? What would you tell them?
As we used to say, this thing is never gonna happen again. In our mother tongue, we say, so they should be fighting for each other, neither fighting each other. And could love each other. It's all combined, one thing, love. Could love each other, support each other.
The first thing that they have to do is to love each other, because love brings unity, love brings peace. So if there is love, there is unity. If there is love, there is no conflict.
For me, what I can say to the Rwandans or the ones outside the country, other different countries, I would tell them to increase their love, to stop their negative thoughts, to help each other, like teamwork, helping each other, thinking positive thoughts, and doing positive things.
The people who want to bring again the division of the people, what I can tell them is that in these days it is very complicated that people can understood you, because now they have a perfect knowledge on the impact on that conflict. They know the result from that division.
I think by now the savior of the country, the people who will save this country, who will be I mean, now Rwanda is very safe. It's a new country. The people who save the country now, it will be new generation, young people, because they were born after the genocide, and they grew up in a safe country. And I hope young generation will rebuild this country, and it will be a model in Africa.
Thank you so much.